Welcome back, everybody. Let's see if everything's working. It's weird that my streaming software and YouTube always has some type of lag. I don't know. Maybe it's so I can pull the plug on something. Doesn't really matter. Welcome, everyone. Also, everyone watching this later on. We're gonna make the final level today. I've had a bit of a rough day today. A lot to do. The missus is in Vienna, actually. So it was a busy day, but I do feel like working on my game a little bit. So let's skip all the pleasantries and let's just jump right into what we left off. Where we left off is what I should say. During the last stream that was making this cool level, which is basically a bit of a... Oh, otherwise the block's falling. It's a section in between levels. It's supposed to be a factory which is falling apart. And you have to escape. And so as soon as you touch a platform, it falls apart. But there are still gears grinding. I actually haven't touched the game since last stream, so I also haven't played. When was that? It was last Tuesday, I guess. So it's been a while. Let's go this way. Oh! Actually, I think I need to tweak that jump a little bit. Oh, it's gonna be a night like that, huh? Oh, yeah, I still have the boxes falling. It's just a gray box, right? So, as I said in the very small intro today, we're gonna make the final gray box for the final level. And then, after spending some polishing time on that, I actually think for all the nuggets in the Discord, I will soon have a build in which you can... Yes! In which you guys can, like, give it a try yourself, right? That would be nice. So this is actually part of what we're doing tonight. So we've just escaped the factory. We've escaped the factory with an ally, actually. And there's another character walking around in the factory. And they live in Junk World, which was the old name of the game, which I thought was funny. I've also called it Junk Town. I'm still sort of in doubt, but I do like, because it's not like a world, right? It's more of a camp, a village. So perhaps Junk World, perhaps Junk Town. Doesn't really matter, but she takes you here. From here on, you can venture your way, make your way back to where you need to go. So this represents the area that is actually the Junk Town. It's not a big area. It's just a small hub kind of area with some characters and some quests that you need to do and you need to figure out. But from here you can go to the Iron Wastelands. And now the Iron Wastelands, this is so you walk through the gate. This is the section that we're going to be focusing on tonight. This is a really big level. So whereas the level we did on the previous stream I think was only, well, as big as up until this point, I guess. This is going to be a much, much bigger beast to slay. So we'll do a small area, but we'll start with the beginning. And actually, in the beginning of this level, so with all the levels, I'm trying to do something different for the boss fight. And as I've said in my videos before, I always like to introduce bosses during the level. So like in the tunnel, every now and then there are these shakes, like big screen shakes, and stuff starts falling down, and you see in the background, that's the idea at least, you see sort of a big object moving. So that is of course the giant sort of tunnel worm at the end. with Squid, you have like the tentacles everywhere, and at the start of the level, there's actually a run-in with Squid. Same as in this level. Here you will actually, as soon as you start as you start the level and you get in, you will be confronted with a giant machine that has just woken up out of its slumber because you've turned on the power in the factory. And you will battle him, but you will not finish the battle. No, you will actually halfway through I'm not really sure how I want to do it, but I think it's something like the boss sort of knocks over a tower of scrap, because this is supposed to be a giant scrapyard, which sort of separates the two of you and opens up a new passage. But of course, as your goal is still to collect parts, you will have to, defeat that boss. So you will have to go after him, and you have to find your way back to him, or her, or it, or whatever the machine is. And so the idea again for this level is it's a sort of a scrapyard, and the mechanics in this level are a bit magnety. So there will be some enemies which are able to sort of hold Carly so that she cannot move, and there will be enemies sort of having levitational powers on the metal which is here, and they will throw metal. The boss, for instance, can also form a magnetic shield with metal, so you have to destroy that shield before you can damage the boss and stuff like that. And one of the things that I want to do is have this level change. I'm actually not really sure where I am right now. I'm going in the wrong way. Yeah, so well, that's perhaps one thing we should fix. So you shouldn't be able to go in here. You should only be able to come out of here. But one of the things I would like to do is sort of have the environment change as well. So have pathways that open and close as machines turn on and off magnets, stuff like that. I'm not really sure, so perhaps tonight we can figure some stuff out, try some parts. What I do know is that I would love to have like a giant door here, which is a puzzle for which you need a part to repair it, and so you have to basically make this loop, and over here find that part, and you can either go back or you can go this way. But so in game view, this should be not accessible from this side as I did, so that it's pretty clear for the player that they need to go on, and find a way to open this door. And then here I want to have sort of a fun mini game where you have to pick up a parts box with sort of a claw machine like mechanic with a giant, what's the word for those machines? Well, basically a giant claw machine. I think that personally would be pretty cool. So that's what we're gonna do today. Let's just jump into it. So the Scraplands. I've now called it the Scraplands, as that is what it is. I called it Junktown right here. But I think I will go to the Iron Wasteland. Alright. So in the first area there is this boss fight. I think for now it is a bit too big, but that is fine. As I've said in the previous live stream, when we did the other gray box of the level, I have some idea of what I want with the level, which is basically what I just told you. I know the story behind the level. I know sort of how it looks, or how I want it to look. I know which mechanics are in here. I know which kind of enemies are in here. But I do not have a plan for what I'm making, right? And it worked out pretty good for the tunnel and the factory in the previous gray box level we did. So we're just gonna mess around, right? And I'm using Pro Builder again just to place blocks, boxes, stairs, stuff like that. And so what I'm thinking right now is since we want to have like a giant boss fight here, and then I think it's going to be something like a pillar dropping off. So I want to start the level off at that part. So you just had like the giant fight. Now perhaps this was a tower of scrap or something like that, and it has fallen over, and it is now blocking your way. Perhaps it should be even bigger. It should be like a giant wall falling over. So what you don't want with stuff like this is that I can actually get on top of this thing. So it feels like a big, of course there will be camera pans and stuff like that. So I kind of like that. Another thing I want to have in this level, which I think is really cool, is floating platforms. So they will be basically held up by magnetic levitation, and I think in the future we can do all sorts of cool stuff with that, like making them drop all of a sudden, making them rise all of a sudden, perhaps changing polarity to switch platform heights. I'm not really sure yet what we're going to do with that, but we're basically going to figure something out. So I do think it's nice if there's only one way to go. And so the other gray box that you see here, the length gray box, it's basically just a rough idea of how I want this stuff to be. Or basically the level layout to be. I do like the idea of the environment changing and switching as polarity of stuff changes. So it might be nice to sort of create a more maze-like structure. So I just added in these like bumps, but it definitely does not have to be these kind of bumps. I would like to keep at least one of these, just so I can keep in the gate and stuff like that. So let me delete this one. Let's just make this the first gray box. And again, just as I said in the previous stream as well, if I don't like it, I'll just change it. Like the factory level, I think it took me 5 gray boxes before I had something that I liked. And again, these are just gray boxes, so as soon as I start playtesting, adding story elements, adding pickups, adding final enemies, stuff like that, adding final art, that is also always a big point of change. The level will change, everything will change, right? So this is not final, so you shouldn't really treat it as final as well. So we're just blocking out something that we think is cool. What I think will be really important is to guide the player. I'm not really sure how. Why is my... We should reset. Oh, reset the spawn point. Oh, what is wrong? What is wrong, dear Unity? I'm still trying to access it. My HUD? What's wrong with my HUD? Did I delete something? Oh, yes, I did. Why? And when? When did I delete my HUD? I don't know. Oh, I selected it. Wow. That is terrible. Let's do this again. It is fine, though. So one of the problems I will be having with like a maze-like structure is of course the camera view and the camera angle. Now we can try some stuff out. Let me just duplicate this one. Let's say in here we're going to make something like a maze-like thing. Oh yeah, I was going to test if I could jump up on the these blocks. Oh. They don't have colliders? Why not? Why not? Why don't you have a collider? I just want a collider, sir. So to really test the maze, I think that would be difficult. What I think we will do is change the bottom color of the... So I have a feeling, though, these are a bit too high. Maybe not. So we also want to have some jumping, right? So how would you make a maze that is vertical as well as horizontal? That's interesting, right? Because as soon as I make myself airborne, so as soon as I would be on top of the maze, I could of course jump over it, right? And I could do all sorts of cool stuff. So as long as I'm in the maze, that would be amazing. All right, sorry. So that's interesting. That is an interesting decision. So you want to have something that is... And also if you want to have it ever shifting. So these will of course not be like proper like walls. I would also like for them to I don't know, perhaps a maze isn't even fun and what I should be making, but again, we're just testing stuff out. Yeah, like, so that's what I was saying, right? This is a problem. I think a small maze-like section could be cool for this. It shouldn't be too big, and I don't think it should be at the start. But it can be, I don't know, just a very, very small section. I think that might be interesting. But again, not here at the start. Not here at the start. I would actually like maybe a bit bigger. I would like the player to move around a bit. So I want like, so I have a couple of enemies here. So I have one enemy that sort of walks around and that can shoot sort of a tractor beam kind of thing, and it can hold Carly. And then I have one enemy which, as soon as Carly is in a hold, or it basically works a little bit as the enemy that we made a couple of streams back, which is sort of a drone that shoots at Carly, but as soon as she's in a hold, it sort of changes its behavior and becomes a bit more aggressive. And I have one giant enemy which can pick up pieces of debris and sort of hurl them across the battlefield as sort of moving big projectiles. Which one of the... I was trying to figure out a way if they could like also pull platforms towards the player, or if they could sort of do stuff with that, like, right? So also be also impacting movement. I'm not really sure if that's something that's going to work out, but let's see. So make this a little bit bigger. Maybe even this one. So I don't necessarily want to start off with a fight, but I do want to make sure that the player doesn't. So if let's say we start with a floating platform So sort of to show that it's magnetic, right? So we're gonna show the mechanics of this level. And we have floating platforms, and maybe some of these platforms. I'm actually going to move it this way. Some of these platforms, they might even fall down, or I like the idea of like a platform being up here and then as sort of the magnetic force, and the force alters. Maybe it might even be like that there's switches that the player needs to trigger, right? To sort of trigger those platforms. That might actually be cool, since this is the only level which has, or area I should say, which has actual power, as in electricity. So there might be a switch. Oh, this is a giant switch. I actually have a switch, but I'm not really sure why I took this one. So you want to, you could imagine that this platform was on the floor, and that you can turn it on with a, well, perhaps not as large as this. Oh. Not large as that machine, but perhaps a smaller machine. I wonder if you can actually get on top of it right now. Oh, they are. My scale today is way off. I was gonna say, and I know you can like double jump dash, but that is sort of a pro move. So I'm trying to build everything so that you only have to double jump to make jumps. It's easier when you double jump dash, and it's faster. But like this jump is way too far. You can actually make it, but it's way too tricky. As I said, my scale is way off today. I also think they are too big. That's, I guess, the problem, because my standard platform is, well, 10 by 1 by 10. Oh, these are not 10. Oh, that's because they are scaled. That is not supposed to happen. Now, I also love the idea of having a sliding mechanic. So what I think would be actually pretty badass is to say have a ginormous scrap heap over here. This is actually not the correct shape I want. Well, I can use this one and add a cube. Wow, that's not what I was trying to do. Is this what I'm trying to do? No. Wow. Sometimes Pro Builder is awesome, and sometimes I'm like, where the hell are you drawing that block? So, no, let's not do it like that. Let's do it like this, as the pros do it. That's better. So let's say I sort of have this giant. All right, fair enough. How? I just want to move this one down. Why is that so hard? Oh, I shouldn't do it like that. I should do it like this. 12 hours later. I think this is actually pretty high. So let's say you sort of jump up on these platforms, and then you get, for some reason, you get on top of a giant scrap heap. Perhaps there's dangerous machinery over there, But you get here and you're like, that would be pretty dope. I don't have anything like that as of yet, but that would be pretty dope. So that's like something that we need to figure out how to do. So I like the idea of there being sort of a machine here, also like a blockade. So let's move this up. Let's move this up here. So there's like this junk blockade. This one moves out like that. So you cannot, you basically cannot go either way here or here. This one could be a little bit smaller. I wish I was a little bit smaller. All right. Nope. Let's go that way. And here there might actually be a small puzzle with perhaps maybe 2 switches. So that you would have to, I don't know, manipulate the magnetic field to get the thing right. So you might be able to lock them. Of course they're going to like bounce and hover. So here's like one of the first problems, right? As soon as I'm on top of here, I can get on top of here and all sorts of nasty stuff can happen. So I'll have to put a wall there. But like this is fun. Now I can of course also go this way. So those are things you will have to think about, right? So what is over there and why can't I go there as a player? So perhaps in this case it is as simple as there's no floor there. And as you can see, I am sort of moving away from the length gray box that I was making, but that is perfectly fine. I actually think this is the perfect time to introduce some enemies. Yeah, I wonder if making this just basically really high. That's not that cool. It might be a ridge or something like that. It's supposed to be all hills, right? It's scrap, it's stuff like this. And again, I'm not thinking about the puzzle I'm trying to do here. I'm just trying to set a pace for the level, sort of get a sense of its direction. You might actually even be able to walk over here and explore this area or do something here. Oh, okay, so that one doesn't have a... Oh, the collider isn't... Yeah. Figured as much. You might actually even have something here, right? Maybe I'm even... Like, wow. Wow, Pro Builder. All right. Maybe there's even like a small platform here or something which you can jump up on, which sort of rewards you, giving you something cool. I don't know. All sorts of things can happen. But again, I do have to think about why, as a player, I wouldn't be able to, you know, walk here, for instance, right? What is over there? Is there like, oh, that's a sketchy jump, and that's the easy part. Well, that is. I would like to jump on top of this and then on top of that. So this might actually even go a little bit higher. You know, it needs to make sense why I can't walk over there. Is it again water, as in the Sunken City levels, or is it, you know, what is it that prevents me from going there? Because we are back outside again. In the previous level we were underwater. Now we are back on the top world again. So there might be toxic waste here, right? It might be water which is contaminated, stuff like that. I don't necessarily really like invisible walls. I could have some invisible walls, right? It's always possible. Ooh, this might also be partly slippery, like ooh. Oh, I need to walk on top of this, otherwise ooh, I might be able to jump back. That could be really fun. Not really sure yet how I want to do that, but it sounds actually like it could be something cool. Could make a skiing mini game. She could have like a scrap snowboard on a wrench sword, like use it as a no, not really sure. A lot of ideas. I think this is the perfect place to have a battle, because here we jump up, so we have sort of a puzzle element here. Might also be the case that you need to go here and then there. Like someone during one of the previous live streams said that the tunnel level feels really 2.5D, and that is of course true, because that level is pretty 2.5D. So I wouldn't mind if this level has a bit more of a 3D feeling of, oh, I can go places. Although one of my design rules is, because I have a static camera, that I don't want to walk towards the camera as much. So I would really like the level to sort of fan out. If you look at it in the top view, it should sort of always fan out in the top direction, and then ideally as little as possible have the player walking towards the camera, because that can be a little bit awkward. I will use it for awkward situations on purpose, but I don't want to do it too often. Alright, so here is the perfect place, as I said, for a battle. So we're going to be sliding in. Going to be having a battle. I think at this point we don't want to have too much of the big enemies, so we might want to have one of those enemies that sort of shoots scrap everywhere, because that could be a really fun. I like the idea of that happening sort of in a, well, again in a tunnel with scrap on either side. So as you walk through it, the scrap would be flying through the sky. Well, not through the sky, but through the scene. That could actually be pretty cool. Let's see. Now that is, of course, something that we cannot test right now, because I do not have that enemy made. Let's see, once we get up here. I would actually like to do some platforming on top of this as well, so we're going to add that. And perhaps there should be an enemy on top of here. So basically a simple shooty enemy. And so here you have like scrap flying from left to right in this section, as there is like an enemy here a little bit further on. I like that. I like that. So a little bit further on. So I like the idea of doing some platforming here. Maybe at this part. Maybe to get on top of this. Perhaps this should be higher. So you would have to get to that part. Let me see. Can I select a whole loop or something? Shift. Shift Alt. Alt Shift. No. Just makes me look. I don't want to look. Look. Oh. Well. Should be possible. Oh, is it shift double clicking? No. That's weird. Control double click. Alright. Well, that's not gonna work. I could drag this up. Do sort of a kink in it. Why not? Does not really matter. Yeah. I don't want to do floating platforms everywhere. I think it might get a bit cheesy. And the idea of these levels is they can be a bit more organic, right? Because it's like a scrapyard. So there is debris everywhere. There's like broken down cars, stuff like that. Let me count them. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's actually a bit too high, I think. No, she can jump 4. This might be a bit too high. This one as well. Perhaps this one should be a bit lowered. Oh, you can actually jump on top of here. I like that. I sort of like this flowy chirp. So this one should be 1 jump, I guess. You can make it with 1 jump. I have like I forget the name of it, right? If you keep the button pressed longer, you jump higher than when you press the button shortly. So you can actually make it, and you can make it easily. They can be spaced out a bit more. I would like that, just to make the flow a bit better. I do think this one should be a little bit lower. And I will place them right here. Don't know why, but that feels good. Might actually be so that this platform isn't even a floating platform, but it has one of the other buttons on it, or something like that. That might actually be pretty cool. So with this one, you activate this platform or something. But with this one, you would, I don't know. Or this one should activate the first, because then you know what's up. Ooh, but that might be a nice puzzle, right? So you can activate this one to activate this platform to get up here. But perhaps as soon as you trigger this one will come up. But you would first have to do something else with it. So if it's in its down position, then perhaps you can get somewhere here or something like that. Well, that's of course always difficult, because if the platform is up here, I can also jump there. But something like that. I'm not really sure what I want to do with this puzzle thing maybe yet, but we'll get there. I actually wouldn't want to make that one red, but it doesn't really matter. So red indicates that there is a battle here. So we might actually want to enlarge this area a little bit. So you will have your first battle. So you will get up here. Again, for the people who didn't see the beginning, this level will start off with a boss fight. But you will not end the fight. You will actually, or the boss will actually knock over a large pile of junk, which will fall between you guys, so you get separated, and it opens up the path that you travel on here, and you have to sort of traverse the world to meet up with the boss again, because you do want to kill it, because it has a part inside of it which you need. Don't necessarily like this flow. Did it change the height? I think what I wanted, like for me at this stage, it is about jumps like this and stuff like this feeling nice, right? So what I think I will do is I will just make this a double jump. This just single jumps. I think that would be better. Could also have this one be a little bit up here. This might be a car or something else. So this is now single jumps. That's better. Can this be a single jump? Well, it can, but that's better. It might represent like debris flying over here with small panels, what I want to say, but this is pretty huge. Why does it always go minus? You know, like something like this. There's a panel. Wow, why is it all messed up? There is a thing flying through the air, which is right here. And another one right here. And another one right here. And another one right here. Which might be rotated the other way. I'm not really sure what I'm doing. Yeah, something like this. These might be a bit smaller. This one also might be a bit smaller. And so then there is a enemy at the end of that. That is still a difficult jump. So you do battle here. Battle off some enemies. Try not to fall off. Roll down. Oh no, there's debris flying everywhere. It's moving from left to right, from right to left. Then there's this big giant robot here, which you kill. Right, and then I want to have... Then it might actually be cool to sort of get to a more open space. Could try that. That might actually be dope. Wow. Let's just scale the whole thing, shall we? Let's make this a bit shorter. Can also just move it back. And if you guys have ideas, drop them in the comments. As I said at the beginning, I had a pretty rough day today, but I was still feeling like doing some work on the game, trying to figure some stuff out, basically make something of it. I like that. I do actually want to bring it back here. Perhaps we can make this a giant area with a door. That is a brilliant idea, if I say so myself. Let's see if we can hang above some of the toxic water. And again, it might not even be a problem that I might actually want to zoom over here. It might not even be a problem that you can get to this part, because basically I could have a secret somewhere over here or something, like a prop or something, because you cannot, well, perhaps I guess you might be able to get over here, but maybe not here, so that when you're here, you see it and you're like, oh, how do I get that? And then you have to do some backtracking, right? Because you want to get rewarded for exploring and stuff. So you might actually go back there. Might have to do some shenanigans here. This will really depend on what kind of art I will make for the piles of junk, which is something I am not per se looking forward to making, because in my mind I'm like, how are you going to make piles of junk, right? Of course, I can take a billion objects and just mash them together and make one giant heap of objects, but that is of course not sustainable. So I will have to try and figure something out. All right. We were making our way back. And these could be like moving platforms as well. That might actually be cool. As well as have some of the electronic traits. So I basically want to go back here. Might even want to utilize... Would be really cool if there was also an enemy here throwing debris at you while you platformed. That would actually be really cool. I think. What? Oh, welcome. Silix asks if I would work with a publisher. Yeah, of course I would work with a publisher. I would love to work with a publisher. You know, the one thing I want is for my game to be, to become a reality, right? To be played by people, to be hopefully loved by people, to make people happy and enjoy playing my game. And, you know, I of course want that to be an experience as much people as possible will get to have. So I am definitely for working with a publisher, you know, getting my game out there. And especially if someone would like to, you know, fund me working on this thing full time. Yeah, that's the dream, right? That's the indie dream. So why not? You know, if it's fair, if it's a partnership, yeah, definitely. I have, of course, gotten some offers already. As soon as you guys will notice this, as soon as you put up a Steam page, you will get loads of emails from publishers. And my stick is my controller is still broken, so sometimes my input stick just doesn't register. What was I saying? Yeah, so as soon as you put up a Steam page, you will start receiving emails from companies trying to, you know, boost your sales, boost your whatever, but also from like, I wouldn't want to say fake publishers, but just small publishers, which are perhaps not protecting your best interests as a developer, because Silex also asks, what if they ask to own your IP? Well, that would be something that I would not, I think I would not agree to, unless perhaps they offer me, you know,
a substantial amount of money for it, then I would still say, all right, but I want to have like sort of creative control. I want to make sure that, you know, I have an idea for the story I want to tell, for the game I want to make, if that is still possible to make. But after that, you sort of buy the IP off me. Um, I might not be opposed to that, because that money will allow me to make more games, to, you know, sort of make a step up to really starting an own studio, stuff like that. But just outright, hey, bro, we're gonna publish your game, but we're gonna own everything. No, that's not. But that's also not, I think, a realistic scenario for any developer in that case. But I would really like a partnership, right? So, um, I think what a publisher can offer in experience and um, you know, their view on how to sell a game, what sells within a game. Um, you know, because at the end of the day, you of course want to sell copies of your game. If nobody buys it, then nobody plays it. So, you know, their experience and their view on things is something that I think can be really interesting and really valuable, for indie developers and for any developer for that matter. And I think sometimes people are a bit scared of that, I guess. But for me, one of the most important things is that the game gets made. You know, so if that means I have to share credit with someone, well, that's fine, I guess. But like outright owning the IP, no, that's it has to be a collaboration, and it has to be reasonable terms. Oh, thank you, William. William says he is a motion designer and also dabbling a bit in C Sharp and Unity. Well, that's it's cool, right? Um, this is inspiring. Well, thank you. That's one of the reasons I keep saying it. You know, it's one of the reasons I make these videos. I do these live streams. Is like honestly, um, of course, there's a part, like, you know, there's a banner below here, like wishlist wrenched on Steam. By the way, if you guys haven't done that, go and do that right now. It's of course also promotion for my game, but you know, as a professional in the games industry, I always like teaching kids. You know, getting people excited about making games, getting people excited about making their own project, and like a big thing for me is with these videos and these live streams is I hope that people watch and say, ah, you know, that gives me an idea for something I want to create. You know, if you look at a level I make and you're like, oh, that's actually pretty cool. I would do it like this, and then actually go do it like that. You know, that's super cool, and that's why I like making videos and like making stuff online, is to, you know, get you guys making your own games. And of course, play Wrenched. Oh. All right, but what was I doing? Let's see. If I would have a enemy here. Yeah, so I was saying I would like, while you are platforming this area, to have you dodge debris, but that would mean that there would have to be an enemy somewhere controlling this debris. Oh, you know what could be cool? That enemy could be here on the floor. So there could be like a small area here. Oh yeah, that's cool. Underneath this part, where you would have to drop off, and then you might actually have to backtrack a little bit through this part, sort of make it a small circle. So you could either decide to kill it and get like the material, but then you are down here and you will have to go back again, which is, you know, a reasonable thing to do. These might not be, for now I will keep like the small things, I will keep them as floating magnetic platforms. So let's see how we integrate this. you know, it's a gray box. It doesn't have to be perfect. I like the idea of this sort of coming to an end here. Oh, I should give them probably mesh colliders or something like that. I like that. So there's an enemy over here throwing stuff. Yeah. Let's see how this plays. Alright, so we're here. We've just had a battle. We move down. So here there's debris flying everywhere. Perhaps this enemy is a bit faster than enemies in multi-enemy combat, if there's more than one enemy. So you destroyed here. Alright. Then you go over to this place on these magnetic platforms, and there might be stuff happening around here. And now you are bombarded with stuff again. But there's like some of the enemies right here, so you might destroy them, and all the debris might fall down. And then you have to get back here. Alright, this is a bit weird. I will fix that. Then you have to get back here. And you can basically, from this point on, just do this again. Or you're like, nope, I'm a trooper, I can do this. And you basically dodge all this debris, which will go on for a long time. Let's make this a mesh glider. This one as well. No, you know what? This one, let's make this one bigger. But let's also make it a mesh glider. That's fine for now. Hey, Kart Racer or Pizza. Welcome, welcome. Pizza is also in the Cherry Nugget Discord, and he's making a really cool kart draft battle racer game. It's pretty dope. It also looks amazing. So if you want to see that, join the server and go check out. We have a channel for things you guys are working on, where you can share everything and get some feedback and some people looking at it. Yes, more debris. Now you don't want to be able to get from here to here. Yeah, so the idea should be that this should be like super frantic, right? I think I will make the magnetic platforms violet. Yes, this is indeed the final level for the entire game. Or at least, well, no. No, not like that. It's not the... No. It's the final level I need to gray box. That's the thing. Or at least need to make a first gray box for. So no, this is not the final level for the game. Actually, after this level, you will backtrack to 2 of the previous levels. And then to an entirely new section. But that section is one I have already made. But since that is, I should word that differently. That is the final level of the game. And that is something I think I will not be making live on stream. I will not be making a video about. I will be keeping a secret for everyone forever. Until you play the game and buy the game. Well, no. Of course, I will have some beta testers or alpha testers that will get to see what I have in mind for that. But that is something that I struggle with all the time. You know, how much... there's some smudge on my screen. How much am I going to spoil for you guys or not? I know that a lot of you sporadically watch my streams or watch my videos, you know, so there might still be some new stuff in there every once in a while, so you might sort of also forget what we were doing, or I change some stuff. But every time I do think, oof, am I spoiling too much at this point? So, but I have decided that for the final level, I will not be in the final boss fight. I will not be spoiling anything except for the beta testers. So if that is something that you would like to do, join the Discord. Yeah, I want to keep that secret. So there's an enemy here, flying debris here. This is basically a platforming section. Then I would like another ramp here, I guess. Since I'm going to make that feature, might as well use it. Although you're not that high. Should I just move everything up? No, because I want you to be able to defeat that enemy, right? I could move these up. To give you a little bit more height. Not actually sure if you can make these. I think so. Yeah. Oh, that's still a pretty small slide down, but you know. I like the slide. For now, I will just do it like this. Let's see if this is possible. I'm not really sure I put these jumps at the right distance. Oh, come on, Unity. Wow. Don't you dare crash on me. All right. Right, let's see. I might also want to make an enemy which influences these. I need to figure something out with these platforms that will happen, right? There needs to be some sort of... Oh, no, these are fine. Some sort of influence from the outside. Slide down. I like the slide down idea because basically I could use that so you cannot go back, right? So you go down here because you cannot walk up a ramp that you slit down, so you cannot go here, so you cannot go back. I kind of like that. It sort of sections off the... And I can also use that to... I can use that to sort of fence off certain areas. So if I wouldn't want you to be able to get up here, I could use a slope as well. Now I have to do that all over again. Let's not. Move aside, mouse. So this area is actually pretty okay. So there will be debris flying like everywhere, right? I think that's the idea. So from the top, seeing it from the top, I think you would want to have debris flying through this whole section. It might actually not even be an enemy doing that. Would that be interesting? So that it's just like an environmental thing? That's interesting. I think I should have there should be some enemy on top of this slide as well. And then And then I think we want to give the player a little bit of... So this should also be an encounter. So you should have a small puzzle. So let's say blue is like ooh. Maybe have a boss generate a magnetic field that pushes the metallic platforms around. Ooh. That sounds pretty cool, actually. I do like the idea of like a boss shooting things which become platforms. It might be a pretty reasonable and good thing to do with this theme. With the junk theme. It's interesting. Like for instance, I could have this one slope as well. So you wouldn't be able to get up on top of it. That is interesting. I like that. I like that. And everyone like that. So the same could be this. Yes. Yes. Slopes. More slopes. There will be an enormous amount of slopes in this level. Slope City. Even this one might be sloped. Well, I don't know what that sound is. There's a weird sound outside. And I do like the idea of these platforms sort of... Whoa. Or platforms. No, this is the debris the enemy is throwing around. It's sort of coming from and disappearing into like these side heaps of scrap. Like you never really see it coming, but there's like this tell line across the field and it's like... And it just smacks you in the face. I like that. So that happens here as well, because there's one of those guys here. It could also be here. Then this might be more of an explorative area. That is interesting as well. No, I think it would be nicer if you want to go for the 100% kill, right? You would go over there. So now there's basically a lot of slopes. You can still not get on it. And of course, like there will be stuff here as well, right? Where you can sort of jump on and explore and do stuff like that. But we're basically just gray boxing out the... so you don't want to be able to jump on top of this. Oh, you might actually do like... and slide down. Oh, come on, controller. I have a switch over there. What was I saying? All right, we're just gray boxing like the big lines here. All right, so here we have debris flying around. Perhaps we have a multiple of those enemies here. Well, they are like heavy enemies. They're hard to kill because they themselves do not do damage, right? But they use the environment. So you might choose to go down here and whoop its ass. And I might extend this area a little bit so that you have some, you know, some walking around. Perhaps a small area over there. We could add that in. Then you would have to jump back. Get on top of this, perhaps. That might actually be nice. So two things. What I might do is have a extra platform here that is reachable from this area, so that you don't have to go all the way back, but you can just basically... I could also put that one here to make it a bit nicer. A little bit nicer. And we can have like a small explorative area here. Now, I actually usually make those blue. I should not use the blue for the puzzle area. Let's use, well, not white. Mantis. No, green is deadly. Let's use orange. Orange is puzzle. Yeah, so there's a little bit of a puzzle there. Let's see if this works, actually. If I go up here, doesn't really matter. Now, of course, I can go to this side, but then I'll see, oh, yeah. So I'm right here. So I can kill this one. Now I don't have to go all the way back, but I can just go over there. It's a bit nicer, you know. It's a nicety. Right here, some more battle. With some enemies. Perhaps this is a good place to introduce the enemy that holds you. Slide down again, so now you can never sort of go back, which is what I want. Because we're gonna make this like a giant open area, which is actually pretty cool. I think a pretty cool idea. Let's move those in the correct folder. So let's do that. Let's delete all this. And let's basically make this a big sort of open area. But in the midst of that open area, and I think I will move this one. I just saw the video. I don't know if you guys saw Game Maker's Toolkit, Mark Brown's last video about Banjo-Kazooie and about the world design. I thought it was an interesting video, but I learned that objects which draw your attention in a 3D world, he called it tweenies. I've never heard of that, but I like it. Tweenies. So I will have a big tweenie, which is the door to the next section, which I think should be a bit more in here. So, you know, so you will always work towards that door. Where's my other blocks? Where's my blocks? Jenny from the block. So we will basically have a Y Pro Builder. Basically have a giant door which you need to open with a puzzle. So this is also sort of a puzzle area. I like the idea of having it a bit more open. So one thing would be, of course, if I get here, I think naturally I would want to be led towards the door. So there's two things, in my opinion, I could do here. The thing I am going to do, I think, is move the door actually a bit more over to here. And basically have this space more act like this. Let's see. So sort of that straight ahead, there is this door. No, this shouldn't be one giant block. It should be something like this. So it's more of some sort of S shape. Can I move this whole thing? Yes, please. Let's make it a slide as well. You know, you might not even be able to walk on it because of something like this. I'm not really sure about this. But if I do it like this now, if I'm here, so for like the first part, I'm sort of stuck here, right? I slide down, and I cannot go anywhere. I'm sort of stuck in a tunnel-like area. Oof, it does feel a bit too big, but as I walk up, I get to the giant door. The door can be a bit... So, first of all, this thing is way too freaking huge. This door is also way too freaking huge. It can be a big door. It shouldn't be that big of a door. And I think I would like the door to be here. So that basically if you walk around the corner, you get to the door automatically. Maybe it should be like this. Not really sure how I want to do this yet. Also, this area I think is way ginormous. So this can just be something like this. Let's also shorten this up. This could even be like so. Right, and this doesn't have to be this shape. This could be any shape in the world. It might even be a bit more organic, like so. But there is a giant door here. I like the idea of it having somewhat of a straight start. Something like this. Kind of like that. It is a floating door. The giant door is floating, sir. Immediately drop it. Yeah. So this could also have any organic shape, but the idea is the same, and there might actually be some battle down here. So we've just had a battle up here. No, I want some light platforming here. It still feels rather large. And so you get around the corner and you sort of immediately, right, you walk into the door, and which is, oh, I can walk between the doors. LOL. Oh, for now, for testing purposes, that's actually pretty cool. So you immediately walk against the door and you're like, all right, I need to solve a puzzle to open the door. How the hell am I going to do that? And then there's this big open area. There is an open area in which you need to platform around and find whatever it is you are looking for. I could also even make it more interesting, I think, by angling this door like 45 degrees, like so. So this way you like always run into the door straight ahead, which I think is interesting. You know, the other levels are a bit more blocky and linear, especially the Sunken City. But I think this calls for a bit more organic level design, I guess. Organic feeling level design. Again, I do like a bit of straight edge over there, just to make it look a bit more like an actual door, because otherwise I think it doesn't really feel like a door. I think this is better. So how big is this area? I really need to, I keep saying this, but I keep not doing it. If you are testing your game, you should make testing your game as easy as possible. So I should really move my spawn point over here so that I do not have to move myself every second, you know, make testing your game easy. All right, so I walk around this corner and immediately I'm like, oh no, there's this big ass door. How am I going to get through this big ass door? Well, I'm going to have to solve a puzzle. Basically, the idea is I have written this down, but I sort of forgot. There's a magnetic lock on here, and you need two pieces of magnet, and you need to place them in the right order or something like that, and it would open a bolt. I think I came up with something. I'm not really sure. Sorry, guys. So let's see. I would like a giant tower in the middle of this area, which is pretty big. The end should be, yeah, all right. So this is a pretty huge area. Yeah, so that's one of the problems, right? So we need to keep that in mind when designing something like this, that I don't want to get the camera too close. Something like this. I don't know. One thing I want is a giant tower in the middle, which you can climb up on. First reason I would like that is because it gives you sort of a overview of where things would be, and I can imagine that there's one magnet here and another magnet over there, so there might actually be a couple of lookout points, because that is something that I have in the game, on top of this tower thing, so that you can stand over here and sort of look like that way and see the part, and you can stand over on the other side and look this way and see sort of this tower, and perhaps there might even be a small maze down here or something like that. But let's first work on making a tower that is fun to climb, and just for my own sake I will make this a different color. Let's make it just a square. Could be in here. So I have to watch out for the fact that I don't want to be able to, from this tower, jump over the gate, basically, because that would be, destroying the whole purpose of everything that we are trying to do. Yeah, and there might actually, let's also make this, let's make this block orange, because it might be a puzzle to sort of get up here, or there might be, it depends on what this is, right? It might even be a giant machine. That could be really cool, that it's sort of a giant machine that you need to operate, and it has maybe like, oh, that's a cool idea. Maybe it has sort of a, maybe it's a crane. Crane, that's the word I was looking for. Wow. Maybe it's like a crane, right? So you can rotate this entire, oh, let's see. Oh no, wait, I should do it like this then. No, at the pivot, yes. So you could like rotate this thing and have it stop, and then this be a ginormous platform. That might actually be really cool. That might be really cool. So if this is a crane, then it should be way less. I'm actually not sure how I want it to look, but that could be really cool. So the fact that the way this thing is operated, sort of, you could actually have it like rotate in real time. That would be so cool. So the fact that when you stop it also matters. So now I cannot go back. So I have to go. Oh, I like that idea. I like that idea very much. I want to delete this one. I actually like that. Seth asks if there are puzzle elements to the game. Well, puzzles, yeah, but it's not a traditional puzzle platformer in that sense that I don't think the puzzles will be like super hard, but more obstacles, which you have to. I would like it if people would be like, huh? Oh, like that. You know, sort of have those kind of moments so that it's not too obvious, but it's not. The game is not intended as a puzzle game, basically. Oh, I like the idea of this being. Yeah, I like that. So now I have to make this whole thing. So since I'm making a gray box right now and I'm not really concerned with... Ooh, so one thing I am concerned with is I should of course not be able to rotate this thing and jump over the wall. So it should only be able to rotate like here to here or something, or there should be a ginormous thing here blocking it. You know, I should keep that in my mind. Not really sure if I want to have a giant thing in the way, because it's also in the way of the camera, of course. Oh, but I really like the idea of this machine helping the player. Now, scaling this thing might actually be as simple as having... I should rotate this thing like a proper. Just for now. Just to make it easy. What? Oh, it's local. I was gonna say. So it might be as easy as this, which might be cool as well. But then sort of have a, I don't know, pile of boxes or something here to help you get on. This way it might also rotate back. Oh, I have some crazy thoughts going on in my head right now. Like, for instance, I could have another one of these machines, but you cannot enter it until you sort of move, you pick up one block with one crane and move it to a different spot and drop it so that you can then get into that crane. Whoa, that would be... That's dope. I like that. But, you know, it's starting to get dangerously into the adding too much mechanics category and feature creep. So I want to keep it a little bit... Wow. So that's too high. Yeah, so this way you could sort of make your way up in the cabin of the crane, and then there's like perhaps a big lever, perhaps two, one for right, one for left. I I have a rotator script which I also use on my gears and things. It has an activate and a deactivate, so we could actually pretty easily make something that rotates like that. That is actually pretty cool. I'm kind of into it. I'm gonna be honest. I'm kind of into it. I like it. Now, I also want to have enemies in this place. So what I will do... Oh. Why isn't that thing long enough? That's what she said. I'm sorry, guys. I'm tired again. I had a rough night. I'm making... No. I shouldn't... Well, rough night. No. Rough day. It was a busy day. It wasn't necessarily rough. It was busy. Very, very busy. That's also not what I want. All right, something like that. I have this ginormous crane. That is pretty cool. That is pretty cool. So I do want to have enemies around this place. I'm not really sure if I want to show that by just adding red squares. Now I like the idea of you being able to, using the crane, get to two specific areas where you can find the magnets. Which are basically giant platforms that you cannot get up on this dance floor. You know, but there might be a lower tier to this. Some enemies here. Why would you go there? That's of course always a question to ask. Why, as a player, would I go there? So it could be like exploration, right? I could also perhaps use this. Ooh, you might actually want to be able to get up here, but then like not so you battle, so you, oh, that's, I actually like the idea of you as a player being able to get on top of this. There should be a giant battle here. This should be dangerous, but you can get up here, but there's a platform missing. I think I should have some floating platforms here. That might be nice. Ah! What am I doing? Nobody knows what they're doing. That's the whole point of things. And like, so I'm trying stuff out, right, guys? And that's the whole point of it. Coming up with this crazy crane idea. I had no idea I was going to make a crane. I didn't know. I just came up with it. And it might not end up in the game. Or it might be one of the coolest puzzle things that's in the game. I don't know yet. I don't know. Seth says, what if there's a hole in the top that leads back to the bottom of the crane? You mean, that might be cool. So one of the things I was thinking about is what I would like is if the crane would be a jumping platform between two other platforms, right? So it would be somewhat like this, but then rotate it, I don't know, 45 degrees, something like that, and over here. So, and then there might be one over here. These might also, by the by, be a bit crooked. They might be a bit lively. They are floating platforms. They don't have to be straight. They can be wobbly and all sort of things. Kind of give it a bit more life. Yeah. So right here, right now, right here. Oh, Fatboy Slim, that's been a long, long time. I don't know, does he still make music? Who knows? Can I get up here already? I don't think so. I think I might want to do it like this. And then this should be part of a large block section. Let's see how we can fit something like this in. Maybe even like so. Chip, chip. So the idea of this is that you can get up here. Ah! Seriously? Oh well. I made it hardly. And that you can actually get up here. But you can never make this jump until you... Oh, you can actually from here jump to there. I kind of like that. And to there? No. Oh, wait. With my new technique, do I make it then? Which is basically... Trip? No. Oh, yes, you can actually make it. Because if you do a jump dash double jump, you get more distance than doing a double jump dash. But as you can see, it's very finicky. Alright, but that's so difficult to make. I will put it off. I will put it away just a little bit further for the speedrunners, you know. But so now the idea is, if I put this and rotate this crane into here, I can use it like platform, crane, other platform. And then, of course, I should be able to get to the prize, which is the magnet or the thing that I am looking for. Trying to, you know, open the gate. I kind of like that. It looks a bit wonky though, so I will definitely change this. Although it also feels organic. I don't know. I kind of like the organic feel. There's definitely going to be a battle on top of there. That it just has to be. It has to be. And for this one, I just like the idea that you climb to the top of the crane and walk over it to get to this part, which might be something like this. Scale this one back a bit. I might actually do the same with this, but scale it up. Scale it up. Ooh, I do like those mountain shapes. And again, this one might be the easy one. Although I do like the idea of a fight on top of here again. Might be an interesting place. Might need to stretch it out a bit then. Then you might want to walk up on this side. Again, not really sure if these should be these magnetic platforms. This should be something else. Perhaps they should be something else. Perhaps there should just be, I don't know, I don't want to use too many of the platforms. Perhaps there should just be a trail of debris that you can follow up to the top. Because the last thing I want to do is like have it feel that why are those platforms there, right? So in the sections where they are there, I think they should feel like accidents, like, oh, it's almost, you know, it's just floating debris, which sort of made this path for me, right? Same as this section, like, oh, it's sort of these enemies who have hurled these this junk around and it's sort of stuck or something like that. You know, that makes sense. And here I feel like there should be some sort of machine. So even these might, you know, might be better off just being actual debris. Debris Larson. I think that might be better. You know, this one might be a big one. Now it might actually be too easy to reach. So I have to play with that, tweak that. So this might actually be better, just from a design standpoint, in which I'm saying, like, you know, so this one is turned. So you get over here, do some battle, do some more platforming. Oh, I cannot get up here. Kind of like that. That one should definitely have another step up. And that one is also a bit high. Right, and so there might be some stuff over here, some, I don't know, some lore, some explorative stuff. Let's fill this one up a little bit, and then I am going to wrap up. completely flat. Might be super elongated. You know, you might also use that. Could you jump up on that? I think so. Well, of course, this one should sort of be the end of it. And have a slope as well as this one. Like everything should be sloped a little bit more. Yes. Like exploring a bit. I like that. So there's like this big area still. Well, and also here, I guess. We could ramp that one up. Move that one to the side. I don't know. I don't know. Have it be rocky. Have it be trashy. Something like this. Kind of like it. Kind of like it. Now again, I should have a reason why you should not want to go at least beyond this, I guess. So perhaps there's again like toxic waste around this area, but because it's like dammed in, it's fine or something like that. I always like things making sense, so I will have to come up with something. Oh, and it's gonna be really difficult to create cool looking trash and stuff like that. But you know, this is just a first block out, gray box. Oof, that sea fighting is rough on the eyes. All right, up right away, dash through the door. Oh, I need to find some things. Oh, there's enemies here. Let's look around. Oh, there's this giant thing which I can scale. And then you figure out, oh, I can actually make it turn. Well, that's pretty cool. And perhaps you turn it to this point right away and you're like battling and fighting and jumping up here, and I have a piece of the puzzle. Nice. And then you might jump down, slide down. And then you're here and you're like, oh, how do I get up here? Do some more platforming here. So some small stuff. Go over here. Oh, there's nothing here, but you know, there's enemies here. Enemies always lead the way. Where there's enemies, there's parts. Where there's enemies, there's things. Ooh, that jump is a bit harsh. And then actually at this point you might say, well, I think I can actually make that. Oh, I cannot make this jump. How do I solve that? Oh, you know what? Let me go back to the crane. Let me go back to the crane. Oh, but figuring that right now, then you're just going to walk over the crane and going to be right here. So that's a bit of a shame. So I think it would be nice if you had to go here first to do like 2 steps, right? So I think there should be a puzzle here to sort of make this block appear or something like that. So there should be a reason why you couldn't just get over here with the so perhaps this should be more here, right? So there should be a reason why you couldn't just get over here with the crane, and why you should first have a look me see. So if I move the crane right now, oh, let's put it on pivot. I can actually only move it up to here. So I couldn't even. But the thing is, if I can jump from here, so I want to go up here. I'll have to think about that. But you get the problem that I'm having, right? If you can just, I figured I wanted to use the crane in between two platforms. But I like the puzzle to be that you first go up here, you do something, then take the crane, and that opens up the way. But it would be a shame if you can just walk over the crane, like you did to this place, if you don't have to visit there first. So if the crane cannot be the solution to the platforming problem there. If that makes sense. Wow. So that's pretty far, actually. I'm not really sure about the size of the crane, though. It might actually be that this one's just way too big. More like that. But that gives you very limited options regarding this place. So this might all have to move in a bit, which is not necessarily a bad thing. Let's see if I can. Why do problems like this always occur 10 seconds before you want to? So I could make it more like this, but that really gets in the way of things. I could also move it back a little bit. That might actually be a better idea. So now it's more part of this thing being like so, or something like that. Let's see if I can make that work. And this is why we gray box, right? Because we never know for sure if something is cool or not. If something even works. So if we put this one here. Now I can actually say walk from here to here. I could also just have like two separate things, right? So I could have one giant rock, or sorry, giant heap of scrap here. Yeah, but that would make it really easy to jump over here. So I might not want to do that. Well, I might actually go something like this. So this solution isn't part of this. Ugh. But of getting to this point. So these platforms could be on the floor, and there could be like a switch or something on top of here, which activates those things. Welcome, everyone. Still people always dropping in. And it's extra sad, as Mariano says, finally catch you live. We were just wrapping up. Well, I think this problem will take a couple more minutes, but so it could have a switch up here. So there's no way to get over here except for using the crane. Oh, but now the crane, of course, bumps into this frickin' thing. and hard. So the crane could actually not go there. It could only go like... You could walk over here and just activate this one. That might be a bit too easy. Not saying it's a problem. That's not really a puzzle, of course. That's just a... Oh, thanks. Thanks for the compliments. Like, if a puzzle is too simple and too linear, it's basically a lock and key. So this would be more a lock and key and not really a puzzle. And I would like it to be a puzzle, actually, thinking about it. I would like this to be, you know, you have to use your brain in between battles for 1 second. So you could actually move something like this, so you move it over it. Yeah, I'm not 100% sure what I want to do with this puzzle. Not sure what I want to do with this. I know I want it to be a puzzle of some sort. So now I think now I can just like basically straight up walk here, right? So now if I go here, go here, here, here. Now I can get up here. Yeah, no problem. So there would be a battle here. A big battle. Or there's something... What could also be the case is that there is something here you need to... like a key or something. So then you could say, all right, so you would climb this one and use it to get the key, and then you can turn it on. Still pretty simple, but might be funny. So that would mean that this would be like stuck in, well, maybe this position. So is there another way to get, so you shouldn't be able to get on top of this thing. Well, you can't even get on top of that thing. Oh, you can maybe do like this. All right, but I could put like a wall in here or something. So the idea would then be that you would have to first get the key for the, well, I never put the thing, the walking bridges inside of the model. So you would walk over here, get the key. Well, you should be able to get back, I guess. So you would have to climb this thing again. Ah! Then you can sort of start it, have it rotate to the other side, and then you could go up here. Then you can get the other battery. So there's one battery for free, and you can get a key to solve the... That's not too bad. That's not so bad. Again, I do feel you should be able to jump back on the crane. And the fact that it gets stuck here, I'm not really sure what to do about that. One thing I could actually do is make this thing higher. So that it's not even a problem that you cannot, that way you cannot get from here to there. That might actually solve all my problems. That might actually solve all the problems. Might it be a bit weird that there's this giant hill in here? Maybe. Because then it's weird. Like, why is the crane there? No, this... So it should perhaps stop right in front of the crane. So more like this. Ooh. Come on, Unity. More something like this. I then do like the idea of this going forward a bit, just to have it feel a bit more dynamic. Ah, as I said, this landscape's going to be brutal to make, like with actual art assets. That is going to be absolutely brutal. So now, this makes more sense for the crane. Can the crane still reach? I think so. Let's test that out real quick. Ooh, that's a gnarly jump. Then, of course, the key can be a bit, farther up. You might actually say, why is the key over here? I don't know. I like to think it's some form of magnetism. Perhaps it's even stuck to something, like in the air. You have to destroy something. That would be pretty cool. To actually have to destroy some bit that the key is stuck to, some magnet or something like that. Might even be able to make this one a little bit longer, but let's see. Is it... Yeah, so it's able to freely rotate. I should actually... No, 90? Yeah. I should actually also put these underneath the crane. Yes. Ooh, so if it's rotated like this, you cannot get on. Is that a problem? Might be part of the puzzle, actually. I don't know. Let's put it like so for now. All right, let's play this sucker from start to finish. Then I'll wrap up. From start to finish, well, it's not finished by a long shot. Although we did a pretty big chunk, but we have to do basically, I'd say 3 times as much. Hey, what's happening? Oh, where's the other spawn point? Oh, it's over there. Oh, all right. So you enter here. Wait, let me get a quick drink. So you enter here, fight with the boss. The boss knocks over a big tower of scrap. It falls over, it reveals a path, and it breaks the fight off, and you have to chase the boss throughout the level. Here, you get to know these levitating platforms and the fact that there's magnets everywhere, and magnetism. And you might even try and jump on top of here and slide back off, and you're like, what? We get sliding right now? Maybe. Alright, so this platform comes up. Oh. There's some enemies right here. Enemies shooting at you. Enemies You need to dodge. And get the hell out of here. You slide down. And here you see debris flying from left to right, trying to hit you. And there's big enemies who have magnetic fields who make those scrap parts levitate. Here there's a big lake of toxic waste. But luckily there's these scrap platforms floating around here. While you platform, there's more enemies and you can kill them so that the scrap mill stops, but you can also just go on. There's a little bit of exploring here. Perhaps there's some lore, perhaps a piece of junk which is relevant to the story or something like that. Well, after killing that enemy, you can go back, take a small shortcut. Ooh, there might even be this shortcut platform might even be activated by pressing a button here. Oh, I like that. That's cool. Let me now cheat my way back onto it. While I platform, shrapnel keeps flying around. Here I have another battle with some more enemies. Slide down again. Here the area, wow, opens up to a big door. I'm like, dialogue. I need to get through this door, but I can't. I need blah, blah, blah. So you can only go here. There's more enemies. Right away you walk against this thing. I might pan up the camera, right? Get a view of this ginormous crane. Perhaps people will climb it right away. Perhaps not. But let's say you climb it right away. Get this overview of this scrapyard. Jump on top of here. Break loose a key. Oh, now you can actually go here. I need to change that because I don't want to be able to go from here to there. Because I now want to go back to this thing. Insert the key. This whole thing will rotate so I can walk over here. Defeat some enemies. Now I can get on top of here. Get myself another magnet. Now I need only one more. Maybe I'll walk over on top of the thing again. But it's not here. So I explore this other area. Perhaps it is over here. No, it is not. Here is only a wall. I have to fix that, but then I go up here. There's more scrap. Perhaps I think there should actually also be a battle down here. Then I get here. There's a big battle. And I get the final part. And I can get to go back. And I think this area is small enough that even for an open area like this, you're like, all right, I know where the door is. Before I wrap up, there's always one more thing. I want to do one more thing because I think this area as a starting area is, as a start off point is perfect. But I do not like the fact that you can walk from this. So I'm thinking maybe it should actually be over here or something. Yeah, enemy gray boxes. Yeah. I usually, the way I usually do it, as I'm doing right now, is I sort of visualize where I want combat to have. And then the next step is to make a gray box with enemies in it. Because adding enemies, of course, also alters the gray box, right? Some enemy behavior calls for certain level layouts for them to be fun, as we did in the tunnel. So that is something that I always do actually as a next step. But yeah, of course you can add like puppets here, or I could add puppets. I do feel this might be better. Let's see. Let's see if I can get from here to here. No, I can actually not. Can I still get from here to here? Yes. Can I get from here to anywhere else? No. All right, so I think this is better. It's just better. I still like the angle on it. This thing, of course, has to be designed, right? Now I don't have to worry about getting up there. I will make this thing red as well, as there will be a battle here as well. This will just be an adverse area. Battles here, here, here. Battle here. A battle here. Down at the thing itself. I will move this one down just a smidge to stop the Z fighting. I like it. I like it, Nuggets. All right. I am going to call it a night right here. I love it. That's why I love doing these streams and designing my levels like this. Is I didn't come up with this rotating crane idea beforehand. It was just something that happened in the moment as I was talking to you guys, as I was exploring new things. Again, this is just a gray box. Will the final level look like this? Maybe in its first version, but you never know what's going to happen after I take some next steps. And perhaps tomorrow, as game devs, you all might relate to this feeling. Perhaps tomorrow I will open up the project again, maybe during my lunch break, and then look at this level and be like, yeah, that's just crappy. That might even happen, and then I might do it again. As I did with the factory level, I keep saying that I made like 4 complete gray boxes of that level before I had something that I'm happy with. It's an iterative process. It's a creative process, but I like sharing it with you guys, and I really like the ideas that you guys dropped, and I like, talking through it. It also helps me make my levels. So perhaps if you're ever struggling on your own game, try and talk yourself through it. It might help. In any case, I would like to thank you all for watching, for being here with me tonight. And I hope to see you in the next one. I'm not really sure when I will be live again. Maybe tomorrow night, but then I might just play some games or stuff like that. If you want to know the schedule when I'm live, hop into the Discord. Again, thank you all. Have a great night, morning, afternoon, whatever it is in the time zone that you're in. And I hope to catch you in the next one.